Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at a really interesting variant of a Dragapult deck that I've been working on, and that is pairing Dragapult with Mega Froslass. Now I know that seems counterintuitive given, Dragapult likes to hand disrupt, and of course, Dragapult in general just likes to be disruptive with, 2 counts of Budew, obviously playing Munkidori, sometimes playing Dusknoir. So how does Mega Froslass help with Dragapult? Well, that's what I'm here to answer today. So as per usual, in the description below, there's going to be usual links, double the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play, and of course the outro and what I think of the deck. So of course today, we're doing a very unusual pairing, where we're pairing Mega Froslass, which relies on hand size, with Dragapult, which is well known for playing a lot of disruption cards. Again, might seem counterintuitive, but hear me out. This has been a really effective pairing in testing, and the original list I actually had did not actually play Boss's Orders. I was going to feature that version on the channel, but I didn't decide to. Because to be honest, I didn't really need Boss in this original version. I won all my games without it, so... Well, bar the Crustal one. We don't talk about Crustal because this deck loses to Crustal, but... Anyway. Obviously, Resentful Refrain does 50 times 50 damage for each card in your opponent's hand. We also have the option of Absolute Snow, should we have to, but that's not really why Froslass is in the list. We're only playing 2 basic Water Energy, and our Ace Spec is also an energy that can help out Froslass, but we'll get to that later. Obviously, we do have the usual, shall we say, Dragapult companions, that being 1 copy of Budew and 1 copy of Moltres. Then I have got a Latias in here just for a little bit of extra pivots, just to help us out in the early game. We have Munkidori as well, we have Fez, we obviously have the 4-4-2 line of the Dragapult itself. Other than that, really, there's not a huge amount to this list. It's just, it's slightly different with how it does its hand disruption, but we'll get to that in the deck list part. Speaking of that, let's go to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. And welcome to the deck list. This has been a really interesting variant that I thought, you know what, let's give it a try, because obviously Dragapult with, the standard Froslass for Freeze and Shroud, that has existed already, and, it does see play from time to time, albeit rarely, or, quite rarely. But, it's a new variant that I thought, well, this does play regular Froslass, why not just swap those out for a Mega Froslass or 2, and see how it does. Now, I do think you could get away with adding 1 copy of the Freeze and Shroud one. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I don't really know where you're going to make the space for it. It was already quite a lot to get everything put into this deck list, but that's something I'm sure you can figure out later should you wish to do so. So, of course, we have 4 Dreepy, 4 Drakloak, 2 Dragapult, 3 Snorunt, 2 Mega Froslass, 1 Budew, 1 Munkidori, 1 Meowth, 1 Fez, 1 Fez, 1 Moltres, 1 Fez, and 1 Latias. Then we have 4 Lillies, 2 Boss, because, well, I've put Boss in this time. Like I said, I played the original list, because the original list I came up with didn't actually put Boss in, because I thought, well, I'm not going to need it, because I'm covering both bases, but I put a couple of Boss in just to, benefit the deck overall. Then we have Lucian as our hand disruption. Now, this is a really interesting supporter, because both of us shuffle our hand into the bottom of the deck, and of course, if any player happens to do that, we both flip a coin. If that player hits heads, it's 6 cards. If it's tails, it's 3 cards. Ideally, and this again might seem counterintuitive, we actually want our opponent to get 6, because then Resentful Refrain is doing 300 damage. So not only are we putting all the cards that they need to the bottom of the deck, we're also doing 300 damage on Mega Froslass. And when you combine in the likes of Munkidori, that's pretty nice to have, and obviously, spread potential with the Dragapult as it is. So then we also have 2 Crispin, 2 Hilda, 1 Dawn, 4 Buddy Poffin, 3 Ultra Ball, 3 Poké Pad, 2 Night Stretcher, 2 Rare Candy, 2 Team Rocket's Watchtower. Does seem a little counterintuitive with the Meowth, but honestly, Watchtower is the only real stadium that I would want in here. If I had a second Monkey and a second Dark, I would be playing Risky Ruins, but because I don't have the room for that, I'm playing Watchtower. Then, of course, we have 3 basic Psychic Energy, 3 basic Fire Energy, 2 basic Water Energy, 1 basic Dark Energy, and 1 Legacy Energy as our Ace Spec. Now, I would like to play a second Dawn, but I kind of need to play a second Hilda so I can find a Legacy Energy a little bit easier. Obviously, Legacy Energy is not only an extra energy for Froslass to obviously use that as a water energy, you know, cost and everything. It's also technically another energy for Munkidori, but, you know, for the dark side, that is. But Legacy Energy can help us with our, you know, offsetting the prize race. So we can make Dragapult a 1-prizer, or we can make Mega Froslass a 2-prizer, or we can make Moltres, Monkey, Budew, etc. We can make them a 0-prizer. So it's pretty nice to have it in the deck, and it felt like the best ace spec for this deck. Because we don't really want to play Stamp, because obviously that does bite Mega Froslass. We don't really want to play anything like Hero's Cape, although you probably could. But I just thought Legacy Energy was the best choice, and so far, it's been pretty consistent. So, let's get into some games, and see how we do. And welcome to our first game. We're up against someone in Gardevoir rank at 243. Hopefully this, like, in the test games that I've done, and the original video that I recorded, with this deck with no boss, it won every match bar Crustal, and to be honest, I'm not expecting to beat Crustal. We went second as well, so they would have had a chance to just go Crustal and pass, and there's nothing I can do about that. But you know what? I'll take it. And we're going first, because, well, we kind of do need to go first a lot of the time, but this is a pretty sick opening hand. We have a Dreepy start, you know, we've got Fez in hand, we've got a Buddy Poffin, we've got an energy to attach. I'm pretty happy with this. So let's see what we've got. And it's a Dragapult Mirror. Okay, that's fine by me. Well, that's a good start. So we'll go Buddy Poffin for a Dreepy and a Snorunt. We have prized a Snorunt, but that's not a big deal. Not prized any of the Pult line. And we've not prized the Froslass, so that's good. We've got a Lillie's in hand. We've got a Candy in the prize cards. Other than that, really, we've got a Fire in the prize cards. And that is about it, plus the Legacy Energy. So, not too bad. I've definitely seen worse, but definitely not. Do I want to attach this to the active? It's a bit brave, but I could. I'm going to attach to the active. The worst I can get is Budew, and that puts them a turn behind, because then I could just play Dawn if I happen to draw into a Psychic Energy. There's Poké Pad. And yep, he's grabbing Budew. That's fine. I don't care. I'll just play Lilies for turn, mate. You know, I could always Lilies and then bite for 40 and take out the Budew. I'm fine with this. Obviously, we kind of want to get our Monkey established at some point in this game, because that's going to be quite key. And it looks like it's the Blaziken variant. That's going to be... Actually, no, that's pretty good for us. That's actually pretty good for us. But yeah, he's going to come up with a Budew, which is completely fine. Because obviously now he's a turn attachment behind. Obviously, he is playing, you know, the Torchic and stuff like that. But I'm happy to deal with this for now. I'm just going to Lilies. I don't need to put down my Budew. Okay, that's pretty good. So let's see what we get off of this Recon. A Psychic Energy would be nice. Munkidori is just as nice, though. That I will say. I'll bench the Monkey. And I'll just pass. Because obviously we don't play anywhere near as much energy recovery as my opponent does. But if I could get an early Phantom Dive off and take out this Torchic, which I'm not sure why they're playing this Torchic. You should really be playing the 70 HP one, which has the Collect attack. But hey, it's their choice at the end of the day. But no, I'm pretty happy with this board state right now. You know, they're unlikely to play Rare Candy as their, you know, their main source of energy and stuff, or like their main source of getting a Dragapult into play. Although, having said that, they are playing Blaziken, so it is a good chance they are playing Candy, at least a 2 count. And yeah, there's the Blaziken, like I just said. Now, if he has... How many cards would he need in hand? If he has 4 cards in hand by the time he finishes his turn, we can actually respond with Mega Froslass, which is interesting. That's if he obviously chooses to do it, that is. But I think he's just going to go in with Budew. He's not using his Blaziken, which is interesting. I would like Dark Energy, but obviously we're probably going to have to play Hilda for turn. He could Dragon Headbutt. No, he's just going to Itchy Pollen. That's okay. That is completely fine, because we could get a Phantom Dive off now. There's Crispin, but I do need to play Hilda for turn, unfortunately. Although I could potentially get something off of Recon, so let's have a look. Water Energy, that's useful, but not right now. We can keep that for later, though. So yeah, we have to play the Hilda here. We'll grab Dragapult and a Psychic Energy, I believe we need. Yes, it is. That is fine. So I'll evolve 2 Dragapult. I'll go basic Psychic Energy. And then we'll Phantom Dive for 200 damage. I'm going to put 2 on the Blaziken and the rest on his Pult. Because now we're setting up for Mega Froslass, which is why I'm doing this play. The reason why I say that is because we only need 3 in his hand to take out this Blaziken now with Water Weakness. And obviously Drakloak evolves into Dragapult, and if he keeps his hand at at 6, that's what he needs to be at. He needs to be at 6 cards in hand, and then we can take him out. So hopefully he doesn't think I'm playing Mega Froslass, because it's unlikely. It's not a pairing you would think of. So I'm hoping that my deception, in a way, is going to benefit me here. But we will soon find out. Because what I can do for turn is I can go Crispin, Munkidori, attach the Froslass, and go from there. So I'm hoping he doesn't play another card. Because if he doesn't, we should be fine. Because I can get a Crispin off, which is going to be good for Munkidori. So we will soon see. But so far, I'm pretty confident at the moment. I mean, like, if he does play another card down... And nope, he's not playing another card down, so we do have the knockout on this Dragapult, which is good for us. Because he won't be expecting this. Which, in my experience, that's what people have been, you know, like, when it comes to facing this deck, they don't expect a Mega Froslass. Okay, that's pretty good. We can get another Drakloak established. I just need to check the deck for the Dark Energy, because I didn't check it. Okay, Dark's in there. Good. That's fine. So we'll go you. I can then Ultra Ball away the Candy and the Dreepy. Grab ourselves another Drakloak. So we can do that. I'll then play Crispin. He's not going to be expecting this, that's for sure. So then we'll evolve to the Mega Froslass. Attach. We can then Recon Directive. Like I say, he's got 6 cards in hand, so we can do this. I'll take the Lilies, because I want to keep that fire in the deck in case we need to Crispin again later. So we can do that. Latias is nice, but I won't be putting it down. So then all we're going to do is we're going to retreat the Psychic Energy, because we have more of those in the deck than we do the Thingamabob. Then we'll Adrenabrain, take 30 off the Pult, and we'll put it on the Drakloak. And then Resentful Refrain for 300 damage. There we go. Yeah, he can come back in with another Pult, but he needs to thin that hand down. So, ball's in your court, my friend. And if you're coming up with Blaziken, again, you need to thin your hand down, because you just need 3 cards in hand, and I can take this out with Mega Froslass. So, again, ball's in your court, my friend. I would love to have double Monkey in this deck, but I just don't have the room. I needed to make room for the Mega Froslass. Because I thought 2 Water Energies just safe, because obviously we're playing 2 Froslass, it just makes sense. But then, like I said, we still have our Legacy in the prize cards, so we can't use that right now. But, again, that's just something useful we can have. But hopefully, with our heals and obviously, you know, potential for, you know, Phantom Dive later, we should be okay. I don't think he can thin that hand down enough. But obviously, I would like to keep this Night Stretcher around. Because, like I said, we're going to recover the Psychic Energy later. Okay, there's red card, but that doesn't bother us. Okay, Boss and the Fez, that's good. So we've got a decent option here, and obviously we have the Drakloak draw as well. It's very unlikely he's going to take out this Froslass this turn. He could Boss the Dragapult and take that out, but then you're not dealing with a Froslass, so that's fine by me. But still, let's see what he does, you know? I'm in a really good position. That's Crispin, so he is attaching multiple energy this turn. Is he attacking with a Blaziken? He is. Okay, that's not what you should be doing, my friend. You need to retreat this. He really needs to retreat this Blaziken. He could evolve to a Dragapult now. That's fine. He's thinning his hand down. I think he's learnt his lesson. But that's okay, because we have game here. If we can find a Psychic Energy, that is. Because we can go Boss to Clefairy, Munkidori onto a Dreepy, and just knock out the 3 prize cards. So, again, not really worried here. He is playing perfectly around the Mega Froslass, but that should be okay. So let's see. Can we find a Psychic Energy for game? Oh, never mind. Alright, so we'll retreat into the Dragapult. Adrenabrain off the Dragapult. Onto the Dreepy. Boss to Clefairy. And Phantom Dive for 200. Take out the Clefairy. And just put it all on the Dreepy. I'll take that. Mega Froslass did its job. And Dragapult helped to do that. I'll take that win. That was a really good win there against Dragapult Blaziken. He had to really thin his hand down, which is good for us, because all he'd have left if we wasn't able to take game that turn is a singular Drakloak for draw. So I'm really happy with how we did there. But obviously, you know, those damage counters from Dragapult were key. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had the knockout with the Mega Froslass. Although we probably would have, because we had Monkey established. But even then, you know, we had the option with Dragapult, and that's what I was able to capitalise on. Let's go to game 2. And welcome back to game 2. That was a really good game there against Dragapult Blaziken. Like I said, it's not often they would expect a Mega Froslass in this sort of deck, let alone, you know, seeing a regular Froslass, that is. But I do think, you know, there is potential for a singular, you know, Freeze and Shroud one, just to give you extra damage counters to work with. But that's not something I think you should prioritise in this list, personally, myself. But we was able to make good use of our attackers in that matchup, and we didn't even lose a single prize card, which is just going to show you, to be honest. And we do start a Snorunt, but not... Well, we've got Crispin, but I don't really want to be, you know, doing that. A Drillbur. I smell Ceruledge, which is not a bad thing for us. Poké Pad. Am I going to see a Charcadet? Nope, Solrock. That's fine. That is completely fine. We don't have to worry about the Drillbur at the very least. This is just an attached retreat, potentially. Prism Tower is good, though. I do like to see that. We could potentially capitalise on that, but it's discard 2 cards to draw 1, so it doesn't really benefit us. Getting rid of that is Brave. And he's got a Carmine. Sure thing. There's Charcadet, there's Lunatone. You can retreat into the Solrock if you want, but wouldn't advise it myself. He needs to play around Mega Froslass as well, because, like I said, you know, he may struggle in this regard, because obviously you have 3 cards or less in his hand for Mega Froslass to do anything. There's a Water Energy, but to be brutally honest, I'm not bothered about it. We're just going to grab Dreepy. So then we'll Ultra Ball away, Water Boss. I think that's fine. I'm going to grab Meowth, because I need to reset this hand. Let's have a look at the prize cards quickly. So we've got a Froslass in the prize cards, but that's okay. We've got a Pult in hand. We've got 2 Dreepies down, that's fine. Monkey's in there, that's okay. Dawn's in there, obviously we just chucked away a boss. We've got 1 Buddy from the prize cards. We're playing 1 Ultra Ball now. And we've prized 1 Psychic, which is fine. I can live with that. So I'll go for Meowth. Last Ditch Catch. Grab ourselves a Lillie's Determination. I'll then attach to the Dreepy on the bench and Lillie. Okay, that's not bad at all. I can't complain about that. I'll pass. I will just pass. I can't complain about that because we have the facility to attack now with Dragapult very early. Which not only helps us, you know, like put pressure on my opponent, but also helps set up Froslass, because that means we can make it so that, you know, they potentially only need 2 cards in their hand if we want to put enough damage counters down. So there is a world in which we can do that. But obviously we do need to be careful in this matchup. It looks like he's going to go into Solrock, and if he is, that's completely fine. He's got a boss, the Dreepy. Okay, that does set us back a little bit, but that's not a problem. That's not a problem per se. If we can find Crispin, then we should be okay. But otherwise, I might just have to swing with Mega Froslass here, which feels bad, revealing it early, but, you know. Okay, Legacy Energy is pretty good. I've got the water in the discard pile, so I can do it. It's just I don't really want to do it, so to speak. So let's go for a Dawn. We'll go Drakloak, we'll go Fez, and we'll go... In fact, no, we need Froslass, but I got Ultra Ball, yeah. So we can actually grab the Drakloak here. And I'll just grab a Pult. So we'll do that. Ultra Ball away, Lucian, and... I need the Night Stretcher so I can get rid of the fire energy. But then again, no, I can get rid of the Night Stretcher, but that means I'm putting Legacy Energy down on Froslass, which is fine. Yeah, I will get rid of fire. I think it's fine to do so. So then we'll grab our one and only Mega Froslass. We'll then go into the Froslass. Go for Legacy Energy. Bench the Fez. Fez for 3. Nice, that's what I like to see. We'll Buddy Poffin, grab it to Dreepy. So that's pretty nice. We can then Drakloak. Watchtower is pretty good. I do like to see that. So we can do that. Do I want to grab back anything? Not right now. And I'll resentful refrain for 150. So that now cuts off his draw engine, which is good. At least for now. I will probably want to establish another Snorunt later in the game. But for now, I feel pretty okay. Yeah, we lost our Dreepy and we wasn't able to go for, you know, a potential, you know, swing with Dragapult really early. But to be honest with you, I don't think I need to worry about that. At least for now. But hopefully we should be fine. Fingers crossed, that is. But, you know, Snorunt can be a tough matchup, and obviously he's not really thinned his hand down. There's another Prism Tower. Whilst I was talking then, I've just caught... I've got a scab on my arm, and it is starting to bleed a little bit, so I'm having to do a bit of bodge job whilst I'm recording here. There's Prism Tower. So what's his damage output right now? Let's see if he does 2 energy. And don't worry, I'm controlling the bleeding anyway. It's not a difficult concept, we just grab a bit of tissue and that's the end of that. So 190 he's doing right now. 190 is what he's doing. Possibly 160. Just grab back the Sorrow. Has he flipped yet? Yes, he has. He needs an energy. Okay, so 9, 210 right now. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing right now is 210 damage. That does mean we can, you know, we can take advantage of this. Because like I say, he's going to hit into us. And he's only going to take 2 prize cards. So I'm happy to do this. So let's go for the Recon. There's a Crispin. That's pretty good. I'm not going to attack with Pult. At least not for now. So that's fine. Do I want a Night Stretcher back on energy? Because I might Lilies this turn. But I could also Crispin and help set up my board. I'm just thinking here. I don't need candy, so I could probably Prism Tower that away. And I'm unlikely going to need this Dark Energy, so I think I'll get rid of these 2. That is pretty good. I'll take the Watchtower, that's for sure. I'm going to attach to the Drakloak. Do I want a Crispin? That's the thought process here. I don't think so. Not now, anyway. I'd rather try and get another Drakloak, which we do. That's good. So we'll go Poké Pad for another Drakloak. So that's good. We'll Recon Directive. There's Snorunt. We'll keep that in hand for later. Recon again. Another Drakloak, which we don't need. I'll just take the other Snorunt. Do I want to play this Night Stretcher and grab back this water? I'm not sure. I'm going to save it. We'll reserve for refrain for 600. So that's nice. Because now what we can do is if he comes up with another Ceruledge and knocks out my Froslass, I can just go in with Dragapult's Phantom Dive. And then hopefully I should be able to put some damage counters across his board and basically make it so that we don't lose, essentially. The only way in which this goes bad is if he has Legacy Energy himself, but I've not seen his A-Spec yet. So I don't know what he's playing in terms of his A-Spec. If it is Legacy, we can play around that. There's Ceruledge. So he is going to get the knockout on my Froslass here, but that's okay. We'll soon find out. Let's see. Red card, that's fine. There's Boss. Boss is pretty good. You have 2 retreat, don't you? Okay, we'll think about that. Okay. Flip the script. We still could lose this game, there's no denying that, but we aren't in a bad situation at the moment, but we are in potential trouble later. There's Ultra Ball. Because like I say, we'll probably need to establish another Snorunt this turn. So, our Snorunt's at the bottom of the deck, so that's something we need to figure out, is how we're going to get another one back. We've played 2 Poffin, so we should be fine in that regard. But, fingers crossed. Because obviously this is just a basic fire, that's fine, I can deal with that. But obviously we're losing Froslass here, but obviously because it is attached to a Legacy Energy, my opponent's only taken 2, which is good. So, fingers crossed, we should be okay here. So let's go with a Drakloak. And we will drop a turn. There's Latias. Okay, well let's start off with Recon. There's Dragapult, that's one I want to see. Well then, Recon. I should technically be flipping the script first, but it's okay. There's a Poké Pad. That's good. So then I might as well use the 3rd Recon first, because I've already committed to this interesting line. I'll take the Froslass. Do I want to set up Munkidori? How many energy you got in here? 12. So 12 is 290, so he could reach a Dragapult, so I need to consider that. There's Psychic Energy, so we have the attack without needing to play Crispin. So that's good. So let's go for that. I'll then Poké Pad. I think I'd grab actually Monkey. But then again, no, Monkey's irrelevant. Monkey is mostly irrelevant. So what I can do is, now that I'm threatening a Snorunt, I can go Boss for turn and take out probably the Lunatone. What's in his discard pile? Yeah, Lunatone's the right call. So we'll go Boss on the Lunatone. So then we will Phantom Dive, take the Lunatone. We'll put 1 here. We'll put... Does it really matter? Not really. 1 here, and I'll put the rest on the Drillbur since it doesn't evolve. There's a world in which he somehow whiffs a knockout, and I can Adrenabrain. So, I think that's fine. Because now all we need to do is just find a Water Energy and we win. So, we should be okay. Or at least a way to recover that Water Energy in the discard pile. I think the second Water was in deck. So we should be fine here. And obviously if he knocks out the Pult, again, we should be okay. It's if he's packing a second red card, because obviously our Froslass would go to the bottom of the deck, which would not be ideal. But if we can find a way to shuffle the deck after the red card, potential red card anyway, we should be okay. Fighting Gong. It'll be interesting to see what he does, because like he's already attached for turn. Is he going to boss the Snorunt? Because he knows I play Mega Froslass. Surely he doesn't. He has to boss the Snorunt, in my opinion. Because then he can go boss on Meowth or Fez for game. I think that's probably his line, because I'm out of Gust now. He's going to go for the Meowth. So the question is, you're dropping Meowth. What are you grabbing here? You've played 1 boss. You've only played one boss. I think he's digging for boss. He has to be. Because he doesn't need to discard any more energy. He doesn't need to. That's the only reason I can think of why he's playing some cards right now, as if he's looking for a boss to boss the Snorunt. Briar! Oh no, I forgot about Briar! No! That's annoying! Since when Cyril's playing Briar again? Bruh, that was so close. Oh well, I'll take that L. I didn't really think about Briar, I'll be brutally honest. Like, it's a card you don't tend to think about. But, yeah. Unfortunate loss there. We would have had game with the Mega Froslass, but apparently Cyril is playing Briar again, which I did not know that. But anyway, let's go to game 3. And welcome back to game 3. That was an unfortunate loss there to Cyril Edge. The type coverage of Mega Froslass definitely helped, as did the Legacy Energy. But, that was quite a tough matchup. I've not seen Cyril Edge, like newer Cyril Edges playing Briar, so that's why I wasn't prepared for Briar. And unfortunately, I walked right into it, because, well, I didn't know they were playing Briar. Like I said, it's quite rare I do see... Excuse me. I do see Briar. Great, I've got the hiccups now. I'm alright, don't worry. Alright, let's see what we've got. So we're going first, and this is a pretty crap hand, all things considered. And we're facing Mega Ninja. Okay. The Lillies is nice, so I'm going to get rid of one of you and one of you. And I think I just grab Dreepy, because I can Hilda for anything else that I need. I'm probably not going to need Snorunt in this matchup. But still. Not getting a turn attachment is also kind of bummy, but it should be okay. I say that, and I didn't get rid of the Froslass, but, you know, it's not a big deal. Maybe I might end up using it. I would need the opponent to have 7 cards in their hand, though. Assuming I don't whittle them down with Pult. So that's something I need to consider. But hopefully it should be okay, because obviously we're gonna go evolve to Drakloak and then Lilies, depending on the top deck, of course, because we might draw into another Drakloak. You never know. Ooh, Enzorark. Is this maybe a draw engine? Dawn. I doubt it's going to be an attack. Like, I doubt this is going to be an attacking threat, but you know, I still have to consider that because you know you could play Dark Energy if you want. And you could play an Enzekrom or an Enzreshiram. So that is something I need to consider. He's going to touch and he's going to Budew us. You forgot to bench Budew, mate. I think he's just realised that. He's got a bit too eager. And he's not benched his Budew. Tut-tut is all I'll say. Well, that's good for us because obviously we can use item cards. So... yeah, he's just going to scoop it up. I don't blame you. That was a massive misplay. How did you forget to bench your Budew? I don't know, but hey, I'll take it. I think I'll leave it at that because I've perfectly proven how this is somehow workable as a combo for, like, you know, a combination deck, as I call it. So, what did I think to the deck? This deck's really cool. Like, it's not your conventional Pult list, and I think, you know, if you was to realistically build this, you know, like IRL and like take it to a tournament, you would notice, if that makes sense. So like, for example, you would feel the lack of hand destruction because obviously Lucian is a supporter. You know, you're not, it's like kind of like playing Judge in a way, but obviously you can potentially benefit your opponent. Obviously we don't play Stamp, we don't play Red Card. So again, that's something to consider. But, you know, like for a fun variant of, you know, Mega Froslass, it's actually pretty good, and obviously it gives Froslass a pretty consistent engine, which is nice. Obviously, the only real things I would consider is maybe adding in a, you know, just adding in a few more consistency cards, you know, it doesn't hurt. Obviously, a second Dawn would probably be pretty nice, just to, you know, help flush out the deck a little bit more. But honestly, I think this is a pretty solid archetype. It's not something I would take to a regional myself, but, you know, you have at least that luxury of having an extra attacker. And obviously, the Dragapult Blaziken matchup should be a breeze with Mega Froslass in the list. Because obviously you can just chuck down Legacy Energy, you can smack him in the face. Obviously, if your opponent plays around it, which our opponent successfully did, it didn't end up mattering because they just benched a random Clefairy for some reason, swung in, and then they didn't take any prize cards. You know, the fact that we had two bulky attackers working together in tandem really made this list prove exactly how good it can be. But anyway, I'm going to leave it to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Dragapult with Mega Froslass, and I'll see you next time.